Hello Capricorn, welcome to my channel. This is your reading for the eclipse. I'm glad to be back and welcome. This is a reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, Capricorn, Venus, Sun, Venus, Mars, whatever you want. But definitely for the Sun and the Rising the most. The Moon is probably the most spiritual aspect. So if you want to watch for your Moon, it's more of a spiritual insight. Okay, so the eclipse happens on the morning of the 26th, right? It happens at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which is about 4 a.m. Pacific time, which is about 7 a.m. Eastern. This is when the sun and the moon are in opposition next to the nodes, and the earth gets in between them, blocking the light of the sun and thereby casting a shadow on the moon. So that pinnacle will last about half an hour, the darkest part. And during that time will be a very powerful shift of energy. And so it's important for you to pay attention to this, like every eclipse. In old times, people would say it was evil and to not practice and all those kinds of things. But I love it. I feel like eclipses, depending on your temperament and comfort, and knowledge, they're great opportunities to really connect, but definitely a lot of listening has to happen when you are dealing with an eclipse. And if you want to manifest or if you want to put energy out, you have to do it in harmony with what's happening around you. And that's why many people shouldn't cast spells or do magic or practice energy work or initiate things, because if they're not listening properly to the world around them, if they're not really tuned in, then that can blindside them, right? And then you also always want to bring in a lot of concern or care for what's happening around you. So you're not the director during that time. You're not the one calling the shots. And so you have to listen. So for you, the eclipse is happening in your 12th house. Very, very spiritual, Zen, inner wisdom sort of moment. And because it's happening, depends on where you live, you might still be sleeping. And so in that case, you might be experiencing, so it's from Tuesday to Wednesday morning, right? You might be experiencing deep dreams and understandings. Some of these things may be referring to things you don't know anything about, and that's okay. So if you're having some kind of like, whoa, that's funky, you could be actually picking up on other energy. This is very similar energy to the Halloween, when when the veil becomes thin and everybody starts experiencing different little visions and different kind of metaphysical phenomena. And so, yeah, with this eclipse too, you will have this shift. I'm sensing it. This is more of an intuitive take on what's going on. I really feel like many of you will be extremely tapped in. I have a feeling that you'll gain insight. This is just channeled messages. I feel like some of you may be experiencing insight from like people around you, and you'll know exactly what they mean by what they are saying. And this might be shocking to you, and you might doubt that. You might think you're projecting but trust your instincts. And so I feel like you'll have a lot of insights with this eclipse about people around you, about their intentions, about the truth. Like, let's say you're not even thinking about people around you. I think that you can watch news or watch a politician and be like, you'll gain that insight. So you can tell us when you do. You'll be very tuned in and able to understand the undercurrent of what's going on. Okay? And this happens because the sun, where the light is coming from, is with the north node in Gemini with a fixed star called Aldebaran, and it's pushing you forward at this time in a very positive direction. It's a direction of strength. You should be at a high point in terms of productivity, and you should be going with this energy throughout the beginning of June, end of May. This energy is so good for you, so embrace it. But this is happening because you are pushing forward in the physical world to new directions. And when you are in these new directions, the shadow of these circumstances is cast. It's almost like you're receiving insight. Shadow is cast and you're being illuminated into the truth of things. You know, when it's like hearing someone talking on the phone and overhearing someone talk on the phone and being in the other room, not like spying, but just happen to hear it. And that it's, you get a snapshot of who that person is without filter. So I think that's the best way to explain this energy to you. I'll also highlight to you that there's a lot going on in air sign. We just had on Saturday, the 21st, a grand trine in air between this transit and Saturn and the moon when it was in Libra. So look back to Saturday and see what kind of messages you received. I'll go into that in more detail with members. And then Saturn went retrograde on Sunday morning. Saturday night it went station. And so that is in Aquarius, a fixed sign. And for you, that has a lot to do with getting on track with money things. I think you've been distracted for 5 months since that major transit broke up over you. Kind of like people leaving quarantine. I feel like many of you have been maybe not necessarily so focused on interactions with people. You've been more focused on interactions with people and less focused on the things you need to do. And now I feel as though that's coming back to you, especially because of this North Node. So on Saturday, you may have had experienced insight that now, like, you're missing opportunities, maybe like in career or work, and now is the time to kind of step it up a level, to face the music on some things. And so again, it's in an air sign, so it's a fast moving energy and you feel rushed to have to do this. Okay. And then what else? So there's the eclipse. Then there's going to be a new moon also that you may want to start planning for. And it's going to be right about where Venus is right now, at 20 degrees of Gemini. That's going to be on the 10th of June. And so, again, everything that's happening now is a precursor, and a new moon, that's when things will really push forward. So especially looking at your chart, I would suggest that you do in some way make certain like plans and prepare, use that sort of energy, because when that happens, that will be significant. Also, Mercury is going retrograde on Friday in the 6th house. The 6th house is very important for you right now, and that has to do what you're doing day to day. And I think this eclipse, to tie it all in, is a reflection of that. It's kind of like a appraisal with your boss. You're talking with your boss and they're telling you how you're doing, or you're overhearing someone talk on the phone. You get insight, and that's going to hit deep. It's going to hit into your subconscious, and you need to get still and pay attention to what these messages are. Let me summarize it all in case you missed some of the finer points. But this grand trine in air between the Sun, Saturn, and the Moon on Saturday the 19th may have given you insights about career stuff. You may have understood something about your career that needs to change, or that you may, I feel like a reminder of certain things you need to do because you've been focusing elsewhere. And then secondarily, there's this emphasis in Gemini in your 6th house of productivity. And so there's several different transits there that are pushing you to focus and hyper focus into this direction. And that's going to be all processed through your subconscious where the moon is. And you're going to be like, it's going to be profound. Less I have these chores to do, and more to do with deeper insights and appreciation for your circumstances. So that's a pretty big reading actually for you. I was surprised. I actually started the video second time through because there was an error in the first one. And I started off saying, well, this eclipse isn't going to be that bad for you guys. You're not an air sign or a mutable sign. But I actually, as I worked through it, I started really feeling like it's profound. Much more internal shifts much less dramatic on the outside. But there might be outside circumstances that prompt you, especially since it's the 6th house, so something to do with your everyday life may happen that will lead to you having an eye-opening experience. Okay, so let's take a look at your cards. So I'll do a couple different spreads. Your first card is the 24. These are like tarot cards, the Dreams of Gaia. It's called Dreams of Gaia Tarot, but I stand by my opinion that they're not. I think they're a completely unique system of cards, and they're very, very beautiful. 10 of Wands. Gemini got this too. You're the first 2 signs I'm reading for. And then we have the King of... So you're stepping... What I feel right away is that you're stepping into your regular self. I really feel like you've been unlike yourself. Not in a bad way. I feel like it's been Capricorn on vacation for the last few months, and I feel like the energy's coming back to you. And then we have the 8 of Water. Again, very different than the 8 of Cups, so hold tight with this one. On the bottom we have the 14 number, which I believe is called Intuition. So very, very nice cards. I really like them. They're very sophisticated. If you're looking for like an intermediate advanced deck, I think this, and especially contemporary decks, is probably the best one. Okay, so I feel as though there was an emotional problem that you needed to resolve within yourself. There was something within you that was hurting before, and now you are more healed with regard to this situation. And because of that healing, and I think you've been healing for a few months now, I think, and I think that you're getting in touch with yourself now that you're healed, and everything feels sort of fresh or refreshed, and you're interacting with the world again in the same way as you had before this healing started, but yet you're healed, so you're no longer, and you're seeing things for the first time again. So it's like stepping out of a hospital after a long hospital stay, and now you're healed, but you're facing the things that you were facing when you were sick, when you're fine, and you feel so much strength. This is really a sign. This is you, Capricorn, regardless if you're a man or a woman. So there's definitely a you stepping into your strength and just distancing yourself from like poorly aligned circumstances. There's a power here that's very immense, and the Sun and Gemini in your 6th house, your strength will come from your tenacity and ability to work consistently right now. I have a feeling that you have certain things that you have on your task list. Again, it's not like a chore list. It has to do with things that you really need to get done. I'm feeling like you have more than 3 things to do. And I don't mean like general things like go to work. There's 3 pressing situations in your life right now that are very much important for you to address. And I feel like finally you can do it. It's like being emotionally available again, or to face it, or free of circumstances that were holding you back before. And if you have any competition or a circumstance in which you're in competition or conflict of interest with others, I think they're going to have a pretty big surprise when facing you now, because they're going to face a new face of you, a new energy. So you're coming through with such power, and there's a lot of magnitude behind your energy. So if people hadn't known you for a long time, they're going to be extremely surprised by who they're dealing with, because I don't think they knew you this way before. But there's a gentleness there. You're not out for blood. You're just very, very confident through this time. And I feel like everything that you want is aligned. You're also extremely generous. So I don't know if you can tell, but this is a power pose, right? You have, he's holding things. He's open, but he's clenched fists holding things, right? So he's a power house. But right below him is his other manifestation, and that is open hands, right? And an open soul. So he or she, meaning you, are here to give someone something too. There's a giving that you're doing. So that's just the initial observation. Let's keep this card up just to get connected. Yeah, I was wondering if this could be another person, but I feel like that's you and your strength. Oh, and this card showed up. So let's see. I feel as though you have very special feelings for somebody. Or someone has I think it's you though. That doesn't mean that they don't. I just feel, I picked up on a vibe that someone has very sincere, very tender, very sweet feelings for another person. That's very nice. It's a softness to your reading. There's like a intensity, softness, intuition. It's all very cool. Okay, so here is the next message. We have the Emperor off the bat. Wow. So definitely something to do with you taking control over your circumstances and in your situation. The next message is the Three of Cups. Reunion with, see, that's what I said. You're going out of the hospital. You're meeting the people that you had known before, but you're back in charge. You're back in your regular energy. And then we have the Seven. I also feel as though some people are not going to take too easily to it. And that's when your intuition will play a key role right here, remember? So when people are put off by you asserting yourself as who you truly are, maybe not the hurt person that they got to know, I have a feeling that some people are going to test you. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. They may feel uncomfortable with what they are seeing, right? And then we have the Nine of Wands. Okay. Nine of Wands. Seven of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. Emperor, Three of Cups, Seven of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, Nine of Wands. You will be separated from a group of people. When you come back with this new energy of yours, there will be a separation between you and people who you possibly have met recently who don't know you very well, because I think that you will realize that something about their nature or something about your nature is different. And I feel like they're not necessarily going to accept like who you are as a healed person. They feel comfortable with you as a person who is maybe the way you were that was hurting you. So I feel like there's definitely you might be feeling through this time that this lack of acceptance is something against you, or that you may feel bad about it to some degree. However, definitely it's a situation in which they're not comfortable because they prefer you hurt, because that serves their purpose. And that happens sometimes when we're hurt and we meet people who are, who are attracted to us while we are hurt. Then once we're healed, they don't like us anymore, right? They don't like our energy when it's better. And then we have the Ten of Wands. Okay. Ten of Wands. You're kind of you're picking up the slack by yourself a lot. So it's like you starting off a situation in your life through this eclipse, but you will be putting in the effort. But I think you'll meet it just fine. I sense that you're going straight after what you want without worrying about that, worrying about whether or not, there's the Tower, anybody's there with you. That's what it is. I have a feeling that the insight that you're having in the 12th house, and this may not be true for everybody, but I feel like this insight that you're having in the 12th house has a lot to do with you realizing some of the people that were in your life are not working for you towards the path you're meant to be on. And so once again, you're doing the Capricorn thing. people don't work as hard as you do, and so then you end up working really hard yourself to pick up the slack for what they aren't doing. And so I think that's what the Tower is, the realization. And then we have the Lovers card. Let's see the next message. The Lovers, and we have the Six of Pentacles. You're going to have such a good outcome with this. The outcome of this situation is that you're going to make a lot of money. And it's like a blessing in disguise, because these people would have been holding you back from where you are going with things. And we have the 10. You're going to meet somebody, very likely a fire sign, and you're going to meet someone and have a intimate relationship with them if you're not in a relationship already. If you're in a relationship, and for some of you who aren't, this represents a person who's going to come in who's just going to rock your world. Like, I think somebody's going to come in who's going to be very impressive as a person. Their character's bomb. They're just great, and they're just like, all the boxes are checked off. They're a really good person. You might be friends with them for a while. For some of you, this will be an amazing boss. So I think that basically with this eclipse, you're having the insight in that 12th house that possibly some friends are not friends, or co-workers, or career-wise workers, people who work with you, maybe not in your same job, but like, business associates. You might have insight that they're not serving you, and maybe even I feel shortchanging. Like, I really feel like somebody's not doing their due diligence. And because the sun is with the North Node in your 6th house, you're picking up the slack. You're like breaking off that bond and saying, I'm just going to go in this direction. And it's a tough haul at first. It's a bit, and you might do it really fast too. You might just very quickly change your opinion of the situation. So as you can see, the sun's went down. So I'm going to go and post your video. So it's Saturday night, and you'll see it. Some of you will see it Sunday morning. But yeah, I'm super excited to be back. And members, we'll get right into the astrology for the next month, and I'll show you guys on the chart everything's going on, and we'll do a little more tarot reading with this deck, I think, which is very kind of dreamy. I forget what it's called. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and welcome back. Bye.